It started the day. The billionaires began ordering pork by the ton. Without exception, they all wanted it cured, smoked, or turned into jerky. At first, I thought the ultra-rich were just bored, with caviar and wagyu suddenly developing a fetish for artisanal, rustic flavors. It wasn't until I made a delivery to the gated community and saw every mansion undergoing heavy reinforcement and my storage area stacked high with bottled water and MREs that the realization hit me like a sledgehammer. They were preparing to survive. And I didn't even have a ticket to the show. The first one to approach me was Mr. Lee from the East Side Estates. Lee is in his 50s, a corporate titan. Usually, he sends his driver to pick up 3 or 5 pounds of premium Berkshire pork belly, always obsessed with freshness. But that day, he came personally. He pulled his massive Mercedes G-Wagon right up to my greasy shop front, scaring the hell out of me. He bought my entire inventory on the spot. I asked if he was hosting a banquet. He looked at me with the seriousness of a man negotiating a billion-dollar merger. No, he said, his voice grim. Process all of this into cured ham, bacon, and jerky. As much as you can make, it needs to last a long time, years. He didn't wait for an answer, just nodded and left. That was just the beginning. Over the next week, things got weird. It was as if the city's elite had a secret group chat. One by one, the heavy hitters found me. Their demands were identical to Lee's: no fresh meat, only long-term storage options. Salt cured, smoke dried, vacuum sealed. The orders were staggering, ranging from hundreds to thousands of pounds. My small butchery couldn't keep up. I had to turn people away, while I worked until my back screamed in protest. A cold pit formed in my stomach. Had the 1% joined a cult, or were they all planning a collective wilderness retreat? The doubt turned into bone-chilling certainty. When I delivered the first batch to Mr. Lee, Lee lives in Cloud Peak Estates, the city's most exclusive zip code. My beat-up delivery van was stopped at the gate for 20 minutes while security scrutinized my ID. When I finally drove in, I was stunned. The entire community had become a massive construction zone. The facades of these multi-million-dollar McMansions were being stripped away, revealing thick grids of rebar. Cranes swung overhead, and heavy trucks hauled construction materials in a chaotic dance. The noise of jackhammers was deafening. When I pulled up to Lee's driveway, I gasped. His mansion was mostly finished, but it looked less like a home and more like a pillbox bunker. The floor-to-ceiling windows were gone, replaced by narrow, heavy slits, embedded in 2-foot-thick concrete walls. Heavy metal grates covered every opening. The whole thing was painted a dull, tactical gray. All the luxury was gone. The house manager came out to meet me. Down to the basement, he directed. I hauled box after box of cured meat into the underground space. Under the dim lights, I saw a scene I will never forget. The basement was at least 3,000 square feet, divided by industrial shelving. One section was stacked to the ceiling, with MREs, canned goods, and pallets of purified water. Another section held mountains of coal, firewood, and drums of diesel. In the corner sat a row of brand new generators and military-grade water filtration systems. There was even a pharmacy section stocked with antibiotics, painkillers, and surgical supplies. My meat was placed in a dedicated walk-in freezer that was already packed with more protein than I'd sold in my entire career. My ears were ringing. By the time I walked out, my legs were shaking. On the drive back, I took a detour through the estate. Every house under construction followed the same blueprint: thickened walls, shrunken windows, and deep subterranean excavations. I slammed on the brakes as a terrifying thought took root. I checked the weather app on my phone. It was June, it should have been sweltering. But this year, the temperature had been weirdly stubborn, hovering in the 50 seconds and occasionally dipping into the 40 seconds. The news anchors and experts kept blaming a rare La Nina event and promised it would warm up soon. But looking at the gray sky and feeling the biting wind through my open window, combined with the billionaires' frantic hoarding and bunker building, the truth hit me. They knew something the rest of us didn't. A catastrophe was coming. The thought exploded in my brain like a bomb. I went cold. I needed to know what was happening. For the next few days, I was a zombie at work. By night, I scoured the internet. I ignored the mainstream news sites and dove into the deep end. Reddit conspiracy threads, 4chan, obscure survivalist forums, and the dark web. I searched for global cooling, solar minimum, and apocalypse science. It was a mix of scientific analysis and tinfoil hat insanity. But one recurring theory made my heart sink. An anonymous insider claimed that top global scientists had reached a secret consensus. due to unknown cosmic phenomena. Earth was entering an unprecedented grand solar minimum or a new ice age. Temperatures would plummet to dozens of degrees below zero. The power grid, transportation, and communications would collapse. Humanity would be kicked back to the Stone Age. The comment section was full of trolls, mocking the poster, telling them to lay off the sci-fi novels. But to me, the post perfectly matched the stockpiles in Lee's basement and the concrete fortresses at Cloud Peak. The rich were building arcs, while the rest of us were waiting for the weatherman to tell us it was going to be sunny. I slumped in my chair, sweat soaking my shirt. What could I do? I'm just a butcher. My life savings, combined with my wife's, amounted to maybe $50,000. That wouldn't buy the front door of one of those bunkers. Despair washed over me. Was I just supposed to sit here and freeze? No, a thought sparked. I had a property. My grandfather's old cabin deep in the mountains. It was built halfway up a slope, a sturdy mix of stone and timber. It was remote, far from the city, surrounded by forests and near a natural spring. If I could retrofit it, it was a straw to clutch at, but it gave me hope. I immediately looked up the contractor, working on the Cloud Peak mansions, Ironclad Construction Solutions. The name alone said all. I called the number. A man named Manager Wang answered. I put on my best, arrogant, money is no object voice. I have a property in the mountains. I want it renovated to the Cloud Peak standard. Manager Wang immediately turned on the charm. Hello, sir. Who referred you? Rest assured, our craftsmanship is the best on the market. We build the finest survival fortresses available. He slipped up and said, survival fortresses, instead of security solutions. That confirmed everything. I suppressed my excitement and said casually, a friend introduced me. No need to drop names. Just give me a quote. The footprint is about 2,000 square feet, 2 stories. Wong did some quick math. Rough estimate, you're looking at about $500,000. The number hit me like a bucket of ice water. I went silent. Sensing my hesitation, Wong quickly added, Sir, that's just a preliminary quote. If you have other projects, or if you're part of a group buy, like Mr. Lee's Circle, we can offer a discount. However, our schedule is packed. To start soon, we'd need a significant deposit. I was about to hang up in despair when Wong suddenly paused. Wait, are you Mr. Zhang, the butcher? His tone shifted from salesy to respectful. My heart skipped a beat. How did he know my name? Yes? I asked tentatively. Oh, Mr. Zhang, my apologies. I didn't realize who I was talking to. Wang's voice was now dripping with sycophancy. My boss mentioned you just a few days ago. He said, you're the city's top strategic protein reserve supplier and the high-level food security consultant for several billionaires. Our boss gave strict orders. Any business referred by you gets VIP priority. I froze. Strategic protein reserve supplier? Food security consultant? I'm just a guy who chops pigs. Then it clicked. The billionaires Lee and his friends must have mentioned me in their inner circles to justify buying tons of meat from a small shop, or maybe just to make themselves sound sophisticated. They had given me these ridiculous, high-sounding titles, and this construction company thought I was a low-key power player in their secret society. A crazy, desperate plan formed in my mind instantly. I cleared my throat and spoke with unquestionable authority. Since your boss put it that way, that makes things easier. This project is urgent. I want you to bring a team to the site tomorrow. I want blueprints immediately. Use the best materials, the fastest crew, and start digging. Absolutely, Mr. Zhang. No problem. As for the money, I paused deliberately. My capital is currently tied up in procurement for the reserves. How about this? You front the construction costs. Once the funds release and the project is signed off, I'll settle the bill in one lump sum. Is that an issue? I was trying to pull a con. I was betting everything on their misunderstanding of who I was. There was silence on the other end for a few agonizing seconds. My heart was in my throat. No problem at all, Wong answered decisively. My hand was shaking when I hung up. I had done it, using an identity that didn't exist. I had just leveraged a $500,000 survival bunker. Now, it was a race against time. The next day, Manager Wang arrived in the mountains with a massive convoy. I walked them around the old cabin, barking demands. Thicken the walls to the max. Replace all windows with bulletproof glass. Keep them small. Dig the basement deeper. I want 3 sublevels, 1 for storage, 1 for equipment, and 1 panic room. Cover the entire roof in solar panels. Highest wattage available. And get me 2 industrial diesel generators and a 1,000-gallon fuel tank.